Hi everyone, back once again to have one of my discussions. I have had several discussions, and if you have not checked out my previous videos where I talk about being single, one is called Why Are You Single? There's another one called What Would You Do If Your Ex Gets Married and You're Still Single? And then there's another one that I've done called Faith, My Story. So if you have not checked out those discussion videos, please do so, and I pray that they are a blessing to you all. Today's video, I want to talk about something that's very familiar to all of us. We're all adults. Well, some of you guys may not be, but for whoever's watching, I'm sure that this is a topic that you're familiar with. And the topic today is sex. And when talking about this particular topic, this is also another topic that can be a bit uncomfortable. I used to be a prude, and when I say prude, that was a conversation that I didn't typically prefer to have. You know, when you're growing up and peer pressure and things arise, you have individuals, as you get older, that conversation just comes up quite a bit. And in having that conversation, it's all about who's doing it, who are you doing it with, the whole nine. And it gets more and more explicit as time progresses. Over time, sex has become something that you see on almost every network, every channel, in every movie. If you get a movie that doesn't have it in there, you have found probably a winner because it is just widespread, just all over. And it seems like it's becoming something that's more prominent in our music. And if you're an individual who promotes or just highlights sex as being a regular, just normal, just great, amazing thing, then you are probably going to be at the top of the charts. And it's just I want to have this conversation just to shed light on the sanctity of having sex, and just how God intended for it to be, and how special it's supposed to be. And it's just been taken completely out of context as time has just progressed, and over the years it's just becoming something that's just more and more normal to see. And it's not something that typically has that, hate to say this, but the negative that comes along with it. It's like, if you're doing it, oh, pat on the back, good job, you're a woman, you're a man, you have released your you're no longer in that stage where you're considered to be a baby. You're a woman if you've had sex, or you're a man if you've had sex. But sex is something that God designed to be between a man and a woman. It is something that He designed to be pure and to be a covenant between a man and a woman in regard to marriage. It's not something that you just do because you're emotionally just attached to someone, or you're just really into somebody. But it was something that was designed that's supposed to be an intimacy that just connects past just our physical or the chemistry that we have just sitting down with each other. But there's a connection that happens through sex that supersedes any type of relationship you can even have with your children. That's supposed to be a bond, a connection that happens that is just, in the purest sense, one of the most beautiful things that could happen between a wife and husband. And it's just been something that has just, when I'm watching television or movies and things like that, I told you guys I am a romance fanatic. And when there are scenes where there's something romantic that happens, I'm always like, it would be so great if after this moment, when he brought her the roses, or when he took her to this nice restaurant, or he did this small little thing that just was amazing and just huge to me, it would be great if they didn't go to the bedroom next. And usually that's what happens. You know, a guy compliments a female, or, you know, he does this little special, like, nice gesture, and then immediately the bedroom comes next. And I'm like, can we just stop with all of this extra stuff? Like, why does it always have to go there? And, you know, when I was growing up in college and things like that, high school, middle school, me and my sister, we made a vow to God. Our sister was older than us. I think she was 18. We were in middle school. And this is always something that I wanted to do. But when my oldest sister, when she died at the age of 18. We were in middle school. And when she died because she had gotten pregnant at a young age. And the pregnancy, there were some complications. And it caused her to have a seizure, and there were some other things, but it wasn't like a definite on what exactly happened as far as the process went. But it was pretty much because of the pregnancy, the complications with the pregnancy. And when you're at that age, when you're in middle school, and something like that happens to an older sibling who you kind of look up to, it's challenging mentally. You're just trying to wrap your brain around it, and it seems very surreal. But at an early age, my sister and I, my twin sister, we had made a decision that we were going to save ourselves from marriage. And when our sister died, that was something that was even more so a factor, that we definitely wanted to make sure that was something we waited on prior to, upon getting married. We wanted to make sure that we saved ourselves from marriage, because we saw the importance in that, and we were raised in the church. And in saying that, you know, some people, you know, you can be raised in the church, but you go a completely different way. And most times, and I heard in a movie I was watching the other day, church girls can be the worst girls, or, you know, pastors' kids, PKs can be the worst kids, you know. But it was such a blessing. God really covered me and my sister. And not that we're perfect, because we're not. I guarantee you we are not perfect. But in saying that, most often, when you've grown up in a household where you've had the teaching of the word, you've had biblical teaching, you've been in church and you've done these things, sometimes you kind of veer away from that and you just want to explore, because you feel like, you know, you've been under such restrictions and things like that. But God covered us in such a way that we had that desire, an earnest desire to please God, and also to have a strong connection with our husband on that level, so that we didn't just give ourselves to just anybody. But that when we got married, that would be something that was special. And it's been my desire, and I don't know this will happen. You know, God can do anything. But it's been my desire that my husband would also be somebody who has waited. But, of course, life happens. And over time, I've just been like, not that I've given that up, but I understand that things happen. So I'm not at a place where I'm like, okay, I'm not going to marry him if he has given himself away prior to marriage. But sex is something, or making love, or that whole notion, or the idea, or that concept, is something that's supposed to be so pure, so beautiful between a husband and a wife. It's a covenant, and the covenant that God has with us, he asks that the man loves his wife as he loves the church. And there's a strong covenant between the man and the woman in that area of the marriage, that no girlfriend, no boyfriend, no just puppy love, one night stand thing can even measure up to. It's something that's supposed to be very special, very, very intimate, as I stated earlier. And it's something that God, I believe, blesses when you save or wait for that. And I just believe that, aside from, of course, I'm big on godly love, and you knowing who God is, and becoming closer to him, and prior to getting with someone, being sure that you know who you are and your connection with God is strong. And for the man, his connection with God has to be even stronger, because he's supposed to lead the household. And if that's something that you've waited on prior to getting married, when the marriage comes, you don't have anything to compare it to. You're not looking at this one or that one, or, when you get with your wife and you guys have that moment, it's not like, oh, wow, like she wasn't as good. It's not that type, that thing goes out the window. And aside from that, just because it's something that you did God's way, he blesses and just like, it's just beautiful. And I don't share this. The videos that I make like these, I don't do this just to highlight myself or make myself sound like I'm so grand. Because God has literally, there was a point, I think after college where, prior to college where I just, you have this, you get in this mode where you've been in the church and you're just like, you're conditioned to think a certain way that, oh my God, she did this, she had a baby out of wedlock, or, he did this, he gave in to this temptation or what have you. And you just kind of look at these people like, oh my, like you are just this or you're that. You put these people in a category. But God reminded me real quick, girl, that could be you. Like you cannot have this mentality that, you haven't done these things, so you're beneath or above those things, that those things would not necessarily have happen to you. And so I understand, it's hard. It is hard. I've been in situations where it's like, oh wow, like this is not something that's this is not difficult to do at all. Falling into temptation is very easy, but the difficult part is to be able to be in a situation where there is temptation, but to resist that temptation. And that comes with trusting God, that comes with prayer, that comes with feeding your mind with God's word, and being around people who are not promoting this type of thing or saying, you go ahead, girl, it's all right, you need to get you some, or it's about who you surround yourself with, and then also what you're watching, what type of music you listen to. There are all sorts of factors that come into play when it comes down to falling into temptation. And the enemy, he knows our weaknesses. He knows what areas we are strong in, and he tries to battle us in those areas. And he definitely, I'm telling you, if he hasn't done his research on anything else, he has done his research on what you are weak in, and he tries at any point to get you where you are weak. He tries to hit you below the belt in those areas. So when it comes down to sex, ladies, men, just try your best, and I know it's difficult. It gets challenging for me. I'm 29, as I share with you guys in a video that I've done in the past. And it seems like as I get older, it's like, okay, this is really interesting, but there was a season where I was just like ready to let go. Maybe like 2 years ago, I was just like, it's getting real hard. Like it's getting really, really hard. My sister got married when she was 21. So saving yourself until 21, 22, something like that. Saving yourself to your 21, 22, it is challenging, absolutely. But when you're saving yourself and it's been years and years, and you're now 29, almost 30, and it's like, but for me, honestly, my desire, when I'm with a guy, when I've dated in the past, for me, those intimate moments, where, you may be watching a movie or something like that, and it's like, you get close and all that jazz. Those moments don't really, I'm not looking forward to those. What I look forward to, and, there are different love languages. My love language is communication. If we could sit down and like have a good time, just talking and laughing and just, enjoying each other's company in that way, like that really moves me. And so I want to hold your hand. I want to be intimate with you, but like the sexual part of it, God is taking that away from me right now. Not saying that has not, ever been there. There have been moments I'm like, oh, it'll be interesting to see what that's like. But, I try not to let my mind stay there too long, And then I ultimately think about when reflecting on the whole scale of things, if I were to just give in, all the time that I've spent, saving myself would have been in vain. Like that would have been of no purpose, to have gone all that time and then I just give myself to someone who I don't love, who I don't have a ring on my finger with. It would be just pointless. Like it would just be in vain. And I'm not about doing things that are in vain. Like I'm very intentional. So, in that area, I thought about it because I'm human. But I've also considered the consequences, you know, of that decision. And then also how it just would have done my husband a disservice. It would do me a disservice. You know, some people might say I'm a little different, and I'm okay with that. I've learned to be okay with that. But when I decide to do things, I'm not just thinking about me. I think about other people, how it's going to affect them, how it's going to affect my children in the long run. And I want to be able to say to my kids, you can do this because mommy did it. You know, I held out. I waited until I got married. You know, so I'm a living example that it can be done. And I want to be that for other women, other men. You know, although I'm a woman, like one guy told me before, and this was somebody who I went to church with. We were having a conversation, and I don't know how we even got on that, but he was like, you are a what did he say? He's like, it's very rare. Like, you are a dinosaur. Women like you are pretty much extinct. That does not happen. He was like stunned. Like, he was almost like saying to me, you're lying. And I'm like, no, like, this is a true story. He was like, what? Like, he was so confused. It stunned him. And that's what we should be doing to the world. You know, the world, they do stuff and it's like, really? Like, you did something that stupid, like that, just outlandish and like just dumb and just, what were you thinking? You know, we have that reaction towards them and some of the things that are just so popular and just become so just, people are just wowed by, and you know, it just becomes this popular, just big, huge thing. But as people of God, as Christians, we should have that same effect on them. And they're just like stunned, like, wow, like that's even possible. I didn't even know that could happen. Like, what? You say to yourself, a marriage, you're almost 30, what? Like, really, that happens? Yes, it does happen. There are people who are still doing that. And I'm just crazy enough to believe that in the lives that we live, that it's not just for us, it's for other people. And that through our testimony, through our sacrifice, through our yielding to God, that others will be motivated and inspired to do better, to grow stronger and to become closer to Him. And that's my plea. You know, when I was in college, I had a strong desire. I was like, God, if nothing else, like, I want you to use me. And when you say that, you don't really understand what comes with that. But because when I said that, I definitely didn't know what was coming with it, because it gets hard. It gets very hard sometimes. But I understand that the goal that I have in mind, the impact that I'm having, I believe I'm having, I hope that I'm having, is so much greater than what my challenges are, you know, in this situation, in waiting. And God has really kept me through this process. And I can say that some days are a bit challenging, but for the most part, I'm okay. You know, it's not like, oh my God, like I cannot wait to have sex. I cannot wait to get married just so I could go to the bedroom. No, for me, it's like, I cannot wait to have that connection, that bond with someone that God created specifically for me. To have great conversation, to just be able to just be in each other's company and just feel each other's love, even without having to touch. Like him, just the way he looks at me, or the way I look at him, the way he acts towards me. Those things are what are going to bless me and that are just going to move me. Not in him like rubbing on my thigh or like trying to get close to me and be all in. That's not what it is. Like, I am somebody who wants what God wants for me. And I want His destiny, His purpose to be fulfilled in my life. And I believe that a part of that destiny and purpose is to be married, to build a family, you know, and to travel the world and just do all these great things and bless others. And through our connection, through our bond, that people will be blessed. That's ultimately what it's about for me. And not having that experience for so long, not having been with someone for so long, as far as, you know, being in a relationship, I know that when it does happen, I'm not going to say if, when it does happen, it's going to be the most beautiful thing ever. I think that our love is going to spread love wherever we go, wherever people see us. I just believe it's going to radiate because we did it God's way. And I believe that whoever my husband is, wherever he is, that he's seeking me. And I'm waiting, you know, and while I'm waiting, I'm not like sitting back, oh my God, when is he gonna come? And just be, you know, some days I'm like, get a little attitude, you roll your eyes like, God, like what the world's going on? But but for the most part, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to mind my own destiny. I mentor someone now, and now that I moved to Texas, I'm now I told you guys I'm a teacher, and I have a person that is observing me, and she's doing her student teaching. She showed me a picture that she posted on Facebook the morning that she came to observe me, and it said, "I'm just on my way to school, minding my own destiny." And I thought, wow, minding my own destiny. Not comparing myself to anybody else, not being on somebody else's time clock, time schedule, but minding my own destiny. And that's what I'm doing. That's where I am. I'm just minding my own destiny, a servant wanting to be used by God. You know, when my husband comes, I pray that God blesses every area of our lives. I pray that God does that for you all, and that in this situation that you're in this time period that you're in your life, you know, where you may turn to sex, you may want to turn to other things, that God be the fix that you need, that He fills any void that may be empty in your life, that God would fill those areas, because He's done that for me. I am a living witness that God can do it, that you can be somebody that's the age that I am, and not be somebody that looks all, you know, sometimes when you have people who are, you know, saved or Christians, they look, I don't know how to say this, but not somebody that looks homey, like they're homebodies, and they just woke up and they just threw on long skirt, covering their face up, and just not looking that appealing. Somebody that gives effort. I'm like having a hard time putting this together because I don't want to say it the wrong way. But I feel that you can have people, you can be that person that is waiting. That is an example that other people would want to look to and think, wow, I know that's God. You know, if she can do it, sure enough, I can do it. And I want to be that for you guys. If I can do it, you can do it. You know, those moments, those close calls where you're with your boyfriend or your significant other, whoever that might be, and you are thinking, oh, I just can't hold out, or I just can't, I have to have this moment with him, that he's not going to love me, or he's not going to want to be with me anymore if I don't give this to him, or if we don't share this moment. It's okay. If he wasn't the one in the first place. When my sister and I were in college, guys just flocked toward us, you know, because we're twins, and you know, and I guess that seemed to be something that was pretty awesome. You're twins, and we kind of curvy and stuff, so guys would they were just all like, it was pretty excited about us, you know, our 9th grade year. But once they found out that we were virgins and we were not having sex, that stopped like so fast. It was like just as fast as everybody was like, oh my God, like, have you heard about those girls, you know, this and that. When that news, as fast as that got around, us being virgins got around real fast. And let me tell you, nobody, you know, you might hear a guy say every now and again, you look nice or whatever, but guys weren't really looking our way anymore. They were just like, I'm not messing with them. I can't go anywhere, so They were just, it was like, it was canceled, like shut down completely. And I'm telling you, you know, when you're in college, you love those moments where, you know, you're in a class and you got these cute guys and you're like, oh my God, like, he's so cute and all this stuff. And you hope that they look your way and all this stuff. But let me tell you, they weren't looking our way at all. Like, it was like we were invisible. We're like, I'm not going anywhere near them. I'm not getting nothing from them. And they have made that clear. So, And I'm telling y'all, if you're in college or you're in your work setting, you know, there's a way that you carry yourself. And, you know, not that we had to tell anybody. It wasn't that we were just going around, oh my God, we're virgins. It wasn't that. People knew that we were godly and that we had high standards and we were not going to compromise. It wasn't that we told people that we were virgins. I don't remember telling anybody, but they knew that they weren't getting anywhere with us. People tried, but they knew they weren't going to, you know, and that got canceled really fast. So word gets around that, you know, when you have a certain lifestyle, and, you know, I was reading a quote the other day. It says, you set the stage for how people treat you. You know, if you set that stage, people will know how they can They can approach you. They will know how they can converse with you. They will know what's going too far, and what might need to be reeled back in a little bit. They will know what kind of language they can use around you, and there will be a level of respect in just the way you carry yourself, just in how you talk around other people, just how your demeanor is. That can change someone's perspective without you having to say anything. So guys just knew, and they were just like, not even, nope, not even going to try. Forget it, not worth it. So I said all that to say, it's very possible for you to save yourself for marriage. It is very possible for you to yield to God and to trust Him, and to just the things that society is promoting, and it's just like, this is considered to be it. This is considered to be amazing. This is considered to be something that you should do. You don't have to follow that trend. What God has said is more important than what any man can say. So what He has destined, that's what I want. What He has said in His word, that's what I want. That's what I need. That's my desire. And I pray that that be your desire as well. I hope that you guys continue to watch videos like this. I hope that my testimony helps you guys. I don't do this often. Most people, they might see that there's something different about me, but they may not realize that that's something that I am doing. But I felt the need to do this with you guys. As I stated before, you guys are like my family. And, in being a Christian, it's not just about me making it in. It's not just about me having peace. It's not just about me having joy and having a strong relationship with God, but it's about me inspiring other people to do the same thing and to know that it's possible. So I just want to show you guys that it is possible just through my life, and I hope that I am an example to you guys. And I'm very conscious, and I don't take this platform that God has given me lightly. I'm very conscious about what I say, what I do, just in any of my social media, just in my regular everyday life, just because I realize people like you need me. People like you need people like me who are striving to do what's right, who are wanting to live a life that's pleasing to God. And people like you need others like you. Somebody just like you guys are watching me, somebody's watching you, and they need you. They need you to be that example for them. So in being that example, choose to sometimes, I know it's not always easy, but sometimes say no. I know it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to be something that's just like go cold turkey and just like, I'm going to not do this. And, and it's just done. It takes time. There's a process. But in that process, just try. That's all that God asks, is that you try, that you give your best. And, He has grace and mercy, but He doesn't want it to be this consistent, just God, I did this, God will forgive me, or whatever the case may be. How that kind of goes sometimes, and we just kind of get a little comfortable, and we're just like, oh, God is going to forgive me. It's all right. I can just do this, and God is gonna, he'll be all right with this. He'll give me His mercy. He'll give me His grace. But we don't want it to be that same consistent thing where we're just constantly coming back to God for the same thing over and over again. But we want there to be change. And I've always had this notion that in whatever I do, I want to inspire change. Not that you see a girl who's talking to you, who's sharing her story, but that change would happen. In whatever I do, I want there to be change. So I hope that you change. I speak change. I speak change over your life, and that God will deliver. And those areas that are not filled, that feel empty, that you're needing something, whether it be a companion or just longing for something, that God be that something that you need. I just pray that for you guys, and that you will know who you are, know what you're worth, and that you value that and you cherish it, and you just not be willing to give that up easily to just anybody, someone who's not deserving. Give it to someone who deserves it, someone that God created for you, your husband or your wife. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. I hope that you will share it with a friend. And I speak blessings over you all's lives. I speak deliverance. I speak healing. I speak change, ultimately change. That you will also inspire other people. That you will be a blessing to everyone that you interact with. that you come across, that they see something different in you because you decided to do what was right, and you decided to serve God with your whole heart, and that you decided to show love in whatever area, whatever you might face, whatever others might face. You'll be that example to them. So I'll talk to you girls later, and I love you all. Bye.